So my name is Maria John. I work as the student services coach for the international department, specifically for the Stony Creek campus. But as you all know, right now we are all working from home, so we cater to all international students regardless of campus.
Hi everyone, my name is Jacques. I'm the international coach for the Fano campus. Like Maria said, we're all working together from home. And it's nice to be here, and I see some familiar faces from the Fano campus, but so many new people too, so that's great. So today we decided to do something more hands-on, so as if we were a student applying for a scholarship. So hopefully it's going to be very useful for you, so that you can do it on your own after, okay? So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and start. Maria, what do you think?
Yeah, we can start screen sharing.
Okay, so let me do this. So as I go along, write questions or write them in the chat, and then at the end, we will answer them. So I like to start by going to our main page, so mohawkcollege.ca. And then from here, we'll go ahead and start doing the application. So I tell students to usually go to Current Student, Financial Assistance tab. Then here, awards, scholarships, and bursaries. But before I click here, there is this new thing here telling us how many days we still have, how many hours, how many minutes to apply. So make sure that you apply before September 22nd and before this comes down to 0. Okay, don't wait until it gets to 0. So do at least a day before. So let's go. Awards, scholarships, and bursaries. You can click on Learn How to Apply, where you'll find all the hints and all the things you need to apply. And once you're ready, you can go ahead and apply now for awards, international and domestic. So it's for both. Let's see, learn how to apply. So for every semester, you need to make a new application, okay? So you will need to complete the MyMohawk Financial Assistance Profile each semester, okay? So before you begin, so before you do anything, you need to have your budget form and your letter ready, okay? I'm not sure if you have already looked at the budget form. So I'm gonna go through that one with you guys shortly. And also on the tips on how to write your letter and what they expect to see and what other documents you might need to include in your application. So before we go on, I'm just gonna open the budget form and then we can look at it together. So I'm going to download it.
Now, as Jacques is opening the budget form, I just wanted to mention that, so this form is here to help you answer some of the questions that you'll be seeing as you're working through the application. So that's why we are recommending students to have this done before you start your application. But just to give you a heads up, this is not a form that you will be, like this budget form is not something that you'll be submitting with your application.
Thank you, Maria. Yes, like Maria said, this form is only to help you fill out the application form online. Because if you don't have these values when you are online, it's gonna take you a longer time to complete it. And you don't wanna make a mistake and you wanna keep track of all the information that you provide, because in the future, if the awards department reach out to you for any documents, you have proof and you know how much you put and you have something to reference. Okay, so make sure that you have this filled out and saved so that you can relate to it, you can go back to it. Okay, so some people are confused about this, so that's why we're going through. So I just scroll down and there's different types of expenses. So the first one is the program expenses. So the first part here says tuition fees, 1 semester payment amount. So for international students, you need to put the whole amount for that semester. So if, let's say, you paid $8,000, then you would write here $8,000, okay, for that semester. Books and equipment, 1 semester payment amount. So this could be an estimate of how much you will spend on books if you don't know yet, okay? So in my case, I'm just gonna say 500 just for the sake of this, okay? For this semester. So program expenses came down to 8,500. Living expenses, the rent. In this case, for the rent, they want you to do it by month. So you need to put here how much you're paying every month. So let's say if you rent in a room and you pay $500, okay? So you put your $500 per month. For food, I'm not sure if you eat as much as I do, but I spend 500 on food. So maybe you spend a little bit less, maybe more, I don't know, but I'll say 500. Utilities. So if that is already included in your rent, you can put 0. But if you pay extra, you also add it here, okay? So for me, everything's included, so I'll say 0. Personal incidental, so that includes medical, dental, anything that you will spend or have spent already. In this case, I'm just going to say $100, just to be safe. And transportation, I'm going to be studying from home, so my case will be 0. Monthly living expense and program expense total, it came down to 1,100 per month. Childcare expenses include amounts paid for childcare over a 4-month period. And then it says child support payments. Because I don't have any children, for me it will be very easy. I'm just going to put zeros here, okay? But if you have children, and you have expenses for each of these categories, so make sure to divide that per month, okay, and write it down here. So for me, I'm just gonna say 0. Maria, do you have any expenses with children?
No, I don't, not yet.
I have 2 cats, but I can't put here, so no children. So far, my overall expenses for a 4-month period will be 12,900. Now it comes out to resources. So how much I have, how much I make. So let's see. For savings amount, it asks us to divide the savings amount by 2 for 2 semesters. So how much I have for these 2 semesters? I would say 5,000. Expected monthly income for the current study period. So if you're working, you can put here your paycheck per month. If you're not working, you can put 0. Okay. So in my case, I'm still not working. Okay. So I'll put 0. Number of semesters you will be in school this academic year. So it's expected that most students will be studying 2 semesters because the fall, so you do the fall and the winter. So 2 semesters this year. OSAP for international students, it does not apply. So we can just say 0. Contribution from parents and guardians. My parents are not going to be helping me this semester, so 0. But if you are going to get some money from your parents, you can put the amount there. Contribution from spouse, I'm single, so 0. Additional financial assistance, let's say if you have anything like an investment or something that you get some amount back, so you can put it here. But for the sake of this application, I'm just gonna say no, but make sure to be precise in what you put, because if you are requested to provide any supporting documents, you have that, okay? And total government income, 0. Okay. So my total declared semester amount for resources is 2,500. Okay. Now that I have this ready, I'm 50% ready to start my application, okay? So you can save this, make sure everything's correct. So let me go back.
Jacques, before you close the application, sorry, this form, can you scroll up to the top of the form? Because I saw a disclaimer there. So this is why, you know, we had indicated, see the disclaimer in red, that it says, note, financial assistance reserves the right to adjust student declared amounts based on the ministry guideline of allowed educational expenses. Students must provide documentation if required. So this is why we had mentioned to, you know, ensure that you have any type of documentation to prove that, as well as keep this budget form saved in case you are asked for this, or, you know, if you need to look into this later on.
Yeah, thank you, Maria.
Hi, Jax. Sorry, I have a question. My name is Shebna.
Oh, we're actually doing a question session later on at the end.
Okay, okay, thank you. Mm-hmm.
You just have to type it into the chat, okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll have it open here for later too. So if we have a question about this, we can go back. So I'm just gonna leave it here. I'm not closing. So don't worry about the letter, okay? So your letter should include, do you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good, because I saw saying message saying that I was muted. Okay, good, thank you. So your letter should include the following. It should include an introduction, the body of the letter, and the conclusion. So I'm just gonna open the letter helpful tips so we can go through it like better. I think I have it open. Okay. Okay, so how to write your application letter. I'm just gonna read this with you guys so that we make sure that we are following the steps. So to be considered for a word, your application must contain a letter as part of your application process. So if you fail to provide this letter, your profile may restrict your eligibility for specific funding. So make sure to include a letter, okay? So complete the application letter before you start filling the profile. You'll be requested to submit the letter electronically as part of your application. And this will be at the end of your application form. So the letter must follow this format. It has contained your last name, dot, first name, dot, your student number, okay, dot PDF. So for example, if Mohawk was actually applying, we would say the Hawk dot Mo dot and his student number. Okay, so in my case would be Soares dot Jacques dot and my student number. Okay, so make sure to save it in that format, please. So your letter should include, like I said, the introduction. So what I tell students usually to do is what I actually did too when I was a student, is to have at least 3 paragraphs. 1 paragraph with the introduction, so including your name, mentioning if you are full-time or part-time. For international students, you need to be full-time, so make sure to include that. The program you're in and the semester. What I also like to say is to say something about you, so it makes the application a little bit more interesting. So maybe talk about where you come from, something interesting about you, okay, in the first paragraph. And then you come to the body of letter. So in this part, like at least one paragraph for you to tell the committee why you think you qualify for that award, okay? Or for any award, because I said for that award because in the past we had this, but now we don't, so you apply for all of them. So you're in for any of them. And so you say why you qualify, and then include any volunteer work you have done within the community. For new students, this is harder to include if you have not been in Canada, but you can also mention things that you have done back home. If you have volunteered for a hospital, if you have volunteered for anything, you can include that there, okay? And for students that have been in Canada already, if you have actually volunteered within the college or outside the college, make sure to include that information too, especially for second semester and higher, because they will look at those volunteer works that you have done more closely, okay? But for new students, you may include things you have done back home too, and that will count towards your application points. And the last paragraph, it's your conclusion. So make sure to show your appreciation for them taking the time to review your application, okay? And include how receiving this award would assist you in your education, okay? So make sure to say, if I were to receive these awards, it would help me a lot with my rent, or it would help me a lot paying for my books. Maybe if your program requires a specific laptop that is very expensive, like $2,000, let's say, like a MacBook, then it would assist you with buying that computer, okay? I also say the 3 paragraph is key, but also when you're writing a letter, what do you usually include at the top? So usually at the top, you like have a title, like your name, your address, things like that. And you like to direct the letter to whom. So you can say to the commissions of, to the committee of the international scholarships, or to the international scholarship donors, something like that before the 3 paragraphs. And then at the end, make sure to say, like if you are ending a letter, sincerely, leave a space and sign. So that makes it more professional and shows that you took the time to actually format your letter, right? And also make sure that your grammar is good, okay? Spelling is good. We know that Word and many other softwares already do that for us, but just check again, okay? Because that also counts. So grammar, choice of words, all that. Everything you've learned in your communications class, okay? Maria, do you want to
Yeah, I just wanted to add in, so what Jacques mentioned about like the 3 paragraphs, that's just in terms of our suggestion for like a minimum number of paragraphs. You can definitely, you know, if you are more of a writer, or if there's a lot more that you have to express, there can definitely be a lot more than, you know, there can be multiple body paragraphs as well. So don't hesitate that, you know, it's not that we're limiting you to only 3. That's the minimum for a lot of students who are not sure of what to do or how much to write, right? And yeah, so as Jacques mentioned, in terms of spelling and grammar, you know, try your best. There's a lot of different applications that can support you with websites that can support you with that as well. And another great resource for that is if you go on to mohawkcollege.ca and then type in library, there's a lot of resources within the library page as well. So this is why we're trying to encourage you to make sure that you're doing it ahead of time, at least a day before, so that you're not working on this last minute and then you have a lot of support that you require.
Exactly. Thank you, Maria. And also, like Maria said, we're not limiting you to 3 paragraphs, and we're not limiting you on your creativity. Okay. So if you think you should have a cover letter for your letter, or like something creative to put it as a cover, or no, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to tell you like this direction. But we've seen amazing applications before from students who were in uh, what is the program? Like the arts program. So they make something like very tailored to their profile, like their style. So yeah, the minimum 3 paragraphs, make it a letter format and make sure the grammar is good. If you add additional things like a cover and stuff like that, it may not give you extra points, but it may, if you have the same points as another candidate and they are undecided who to pick, that might be turning like a good differential, make it something different for them to choose you. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say for the letter. So if you don't know how to save the Word document into a PDF, there is also the guide here how to do it in Word. So you can read this here. So it just says like when you're saving, make sure to click Save As, and then you choose the type of file that you want. You can choose PDF, and then you save it with your last name dot first name dot student number. Okay, so that would be for the letter. I think it's valid to also say if you're providing extra supporting documents like the volunteer work you have done, especially for second semester and higher, you can also include that in your Word document, right, Maria?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to say it to them?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, so as Jacques mentioned, any type of, let's say, volunteering work or certification that you've done that you were talking about in your letter, it would be beneficial to add that towards the end of your letter as well. So the easiest thing to do is within Microsoft Word itself. So after you finish your paragraphs at the end, you can include, let's say, whether you have like an image of a letter, like a thank you letter, let's say, that you had received for your volunteering work. Or if you have like image of, let's say, how you, like while you in action while you were volunteering. So anything like that could be added in. And what you would do is just go into Microsoft Word, and then, you know, right after the paragraphs, there's an insert option on the top. Tools bar, and then you just have to insert that in, and then you can put it in as much as you want. And the reason why we're saying, you know, it would be better to kind of add it all into the Word itself right after your letter is just because all of this has to be saved into one PDF, right? Because when you upload your application, there's only option to upload one document, right? Another option is, and you can Google how to do this as well, is let's say if you have your letter in Word and you have it ready in a PDF format already based on the instructions that you're seeing on this. And then let's say you have other documents that you want to upload, and those are also in a PDF format. You can Google how to merge PDFs together into one, so that way it's all in one file.
Yeah, that's how I usually did, because I used to have many PDF files for thank you letters, for recognition letters and all those, and my map and all that we had to include. So I would just Google PDF merge, and I would use the first link that would show on Google, and I would just upload all my PDFs in the order that I wanted, and it would give me, and then I would save as my last name dot first name dot student number. I'm repeating this many times because you can get disqualified for not saving your letter or your file as your last name dot first name dot student number. Make sure to do that, okay? So I guess now we are 100% ready to start the application, because I have my budget form ready, I have my letter ready. So let's go to the actual profile, okay? Let me just go back. Okay, so I'm back here to how to apply. So I'm ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on apply now. So apply now. You can actually read all the eligibility here at the bottom. For international students, I'm just gonna go down here and read to you guys. So in order to qualify to be eligible, you must register for a full-time course load, like I said, okay? Or you can also be in a co-op term because that's also considered full-time for the semester that you are applying to be considered for the funding. Returning students to Mohawk College must have a successful previous academic record. So if you're going to your second semester, third semester, your previous semester has to have been successful, okay? And you must have no academic offense on your record. So no academic dishonesty, so because they will check that, okay, for at least for that year. So if you've been here for 4 semesters, in the first semester you were caught in academic dishonesty, they will not check that because it's been more than a year, okay? So it's only within that year. So hopefully you don't have any. So let's go ahead and apply now. So this is, again, the eligibility, the tips, and all the things we went through already. So I'm just going to scroll down, okay? And I will click, I have read the above, okay? It would be good if you read it again, just when you are applying so that you know what you're doing. Because one of the questions you might be, please note that the college will ask you for your SIN number, because when you're receiving an award, they need to declare that. So you will be providing your SIN. So one of the questions will be that. So you have to say that you agree, okay? So next page. So again, so read this. This talks about the SIN here and the OSAP and all that part. So also I have read, understand, and agree. So next page.
Yeah, definitely make sure that you read through all of that. We've obviously seen all of this before, so that's why we're just kind of going through quickly.
Yes. So now we're going to start filling out the form. So how did you hear about the awards application? In your case, if you received an email, you can say an e-blast. If I told you you found out on the website, your faculty or others, so you click the correct one. So I'm assuming most of you received an email, so you can say e-blast for this one. I'm going to use some of my information. So student first name, last name, my email. I'm just gonna write my student number. Okay. Make sure to use your Mohawk College email. Not the number one, I'm just gonna put the name there because I don't want to confuse. So make sure to use your full email. So it's usually your first name dot last name, okay? At mohawkcollege.ca. And then it asks for an alternate email address, so it would be your personal. So you put your personal email there, but make sure to use your Mohawk email. Your Mohawk student number. So you put your student number here. Date of birth. I'm gonna lie so you don't find out how old I am. So, but don't lie in your application, okay? This is just for the sake of going through the application with you guys. So make sure to put the right information because, like I said, the college may request some supporting documentation, okay? Very good. Your postal code, so where you live. So where were you born in Canada? I'm assuming most of you would say no, so that's why I'm saying no to. What country were you born? So you can pick the country where you were born. I think some of you already know where I'm from, so I cannot lie about that one. So I'm from Brazil. And what year did you come to Canada? So I came to Canada in 2000. For the second time. So what is your citizenship status? So in your case, it will be international student. Have you lived in Canada for the past 12 consecutive months? If it's your first semester, most likely you would say no. But if you're in your third semester or higher, and then you would say yes. So for the sake of this, I'm going to say Have you lived in Ontario for the past 12 consecutive months? I would say no. Do you want to self-identify as an Indigenous person? No. Have either of your parents or guardians completed a post-secondary education? Just to be clear, post-secondary education, Maria, do you want to explain that?
Yeah, so we just wanted to be clear that a lot of students sometimes ask us, what does post-secondary mean? So just to let you know, so post-secondary is any type of diploma, certificate, degree, master's that you've done after high school. So any studies that you've completed post-high school. So what the question is asking is basically, have either of your parents or guardians completed post-secondary, meaning after high school education? And again, you might be thinking, why are these types of questions being asked? It's just because there's many different types of scholarships and bursaries. So basically, once you answer these questions, it's kind of filtering to see which type of scholarship or bursary that you may be eligible for.
Thank you. So in my case, my parents didn't attend any college or university, so that's why I said no, okay? So what was your parents' level of studies? So for them would be no post-secondary education. Did your parents complete their post-secondary education in Canada? Again, they haven't studied post-secondary, so no. Completed a post-secondary certificate, diploma, or degree. So that could be back home. So if you have completed like a bachelor's in business back home, so that's post-secondary degree, so you'd say yes. So I'll say yes. But if you have not completed anything after high school, you'd say no. Okay. Have you completed a program at Mohawk College? If it's your first semester here, most likely no. Okay, so I'm just going to say no for that. Maria, do you want to add anything?
No.
Okay, so we're ready to go to the next page.
Yeah.
So current status. I'm assuming most students will be single, so I'm just gonna click single too. But if you're married or if you're divorced or separated, so select the correct one. During the academic year, I will be living on my own with my parents or with my spouse. So I'm single and I came by myself, so I'm gonna be living on my own. Okay. Will you be living in the Mohawk College student residence during your study period? No, because I'm living in a room somewhere else. Do you have any children? I said no in my form, so I'll say no. But if you said yes in your form, make sure to say yes here too, okay? Your budget form. Did you graduate from high school? I said yes. So, did you graduate from high school with 70% or greater grade average in your last academic year? I'll say yes. When did you last attend high school? So it was before I came to Canada, 2015, so I'll say 2014. So.
As Jox is typing that, I just wanted to mention, make sure that you are truthful with these answers because, after you submit your application, you may be later on asked to provide, let's say, your high school transcript or your grade summary to show that, yes, you did receive 70% or greater grade average in your last academic year.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure that that's correct. For me, I was kind of a good student, so yes, I had a 100%. Okay, so I attended high school in 2014, and then the name of my high school, so you type it here. You just type it in here, but make sure to use the correct name. The city, the school that I attended, that was Pacific. So have you attended any post-secondary institution prior to studying at Mohawk? Yes. Please indicate the name of the institution. So write the name of the institution. Did you complete the program? So if you completed your program, post-secondary program in the past, then say yes. If not, say no. If this, is this the first time that you have attended Mohawk College? If it is the first time, then say yes. And what program are you studying? So for me, I'm just going to say Office Administration Executive. Okay, but make sure to select the correct program that you're studying. Okay, if you're studying Business General, so 320. Okay. What year of the program are you currently studying? Attending. So if it's my first year, I'm just gonna click first year. But if you are in your third semester, so you're in the second year, your first semester, and so on. Have you completed 3 Mohawk College math courses with an 80% or higher grade in each course? So this applies mostly for students who did maybe engineering, something that has a lot of math, and you have already completed 3 math courses with a higher GPA than 80%. Okay. Why?
Just to specify, those are Mohawk College math courses with an 80% or higher.
Yes. I believe there is something specific for that. So yes, no. In my case, no. Which campus will you be attending? So make sure to select the correct one. I'm attending at Fennel. So do you have a clinical placement this term? So if your program has a clinical placement this term, say yes. If not, no. Do you have a co-op placement this term? Yes or no. Okay. You will know based on your program. Okay.
Just wanted to mention for the campus, obviously right now we understand majority of the programs are online, that you're studying, remotely. So what that question is asking is basically where your program, like which campus your program is affiliated with. And, we're hoping that we get back to campus as soon as possible, so.
Thank you. So next page. So now the budget form comes into place. Okay, so if you had that already filled out, it will be an easy piece, okay, for you. So we can just grab the information from the form and put it here. So tuition fees, what I said was 8,000. For books, I said it was 500. Okay. Rent, mortgage, Mohawk College residence per month. I said I pay 500 for my room. If I'm not sure, I can just go back to my form and go back here. For food, I said I eat a lot, so it was 500. Utilities, it was all included, so I said 0. Personal incidentals, I said 100. So here it asks for an explanation of the incidental expenses. So for me, because I wear glasses, so I'm just gonna say it was for glasses, okay? So for you, if you had any other expenses or you think you will have expenses with medical or dental, make sure to put it down here. Okay? Did you declare you had children above? I said no, no children. Program-related transportation expenses. I said that I'll be studying from home, so I won't be spending any money. So I said, do you travel over 30 kilometers to and from Mohawk College? No.
Sorry, Jack, so I just wanted to mention for the program-related transportation expense, for those of the students who do have some sort of a lab or in-person component this semester, you can do like an approximate amount based on that, okay? Like that you can calculate to see, I'm sure by now you probably have some sort of an idea how many times you may have to visit the campus. So you can calculate that based on that.
And then for me, select all that apply for your transportation expenses. I don't have any expenses, so I'm just gonna say other. I'm just gonna say none. I don't have, I can spell, okay, none. Total expenses for the study period. So that would be the total that I said in my form. Let me just go back here to make sure that I'm inputting. So for me, it was 8,500. So, and then resources. For savings amount, I think I said 500, 5,000. Let me just go back here. Yeah, I said, yeah, 5,000 for the year. Income earned from working, I said that I'm not working at the moment, so I will say 0. But if you are and you know how much you're getting paid bi-weekly, so just multiply that by 2 and you have the monthly. Okay. Have you applied for OSAP? It doesn't apply to international, so I'll say no. And then it asks to explain why. So just say international student. Okay, so the committee knows that you're not qualified for OSAP. Will you be receiving contributions from your parents or guardians? In this case, I said no in my form, so I'll say no. But if your parents are sending you money, so make sure to say yes. Okay, this will not disqualify you from the awards, but they want to know for real what your situation. Okay, then I can say no, and I'll say I will.
Jock, sorry, I don't think your sound is coming through. I don't know if it's just for me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you hear about the receiving contributions?
No, I don't think I did. I don't know.
So I just said, just be honest. Like if you're receiving money from your parents, then make sure to say yes. And because this will not qualify you from any awards. Okay? They just want to know your situation. So in my case, I'll be paying everything on my own. Will you be receiving contributions from your spouse while I'm single? So no. Single. Okay, explain it. Additional financial assistance, including funding provided by outside support. So in this case, I said 0. Okay. Please specify the type of additional assistance. In this case, none for me. I don't have any. Additional government benefits, 0. And total resources for the study period, according to my form, I will have 2,500. I have 5,000 savings, so divided by 2 semesters, so 2,500. Okay.
It's not total?
This is mine. Okay, so you have to put your information. Okay. So, next page. So the next part is about volunteering. So do you volunteer or have you had community involvement? So if you're a new student, you can, like I said before, you can mention something you have done in the past. And if you're second semester higher and you have volunteered here in Canada, make sure to say yes. And then they ask, how many hours do you volunteer in a month? So over a month, if you do a math, like let's say you volunteered every month previous semesters, and you did an average of 10 hours, make sure to put it here, okay, per month. So per month was 10 hours. And then if they ask for proof of that, make sure to include that too, okay? At the end, like we said, we could include the supporting documents along with your letter. So if you have that information already, make sure to merge it with your letter and provide them. Okay, so they don't have to ask you for that in the future. So it makes the review easier for them. And then the next is, have you volunteered at St. Joseph's Villa? So that's a hospital here in Hamilton. I think, right, Maria? Oh, sorry, can't hear you.
Sorry, I was on mute. St. Joseph's Villa is actually a retirement home in Dundas. So I guess there's probably a specific scholarship related to that. So that's why they're asking. But, you know, obviously, if you have not, then you just say no.
Okay, so I have not volunteered there, so I'll say no. And then it asks me to talk about my volunteer experience briefly. So you can write like a small paragraph here and say where you have volunteered already. So you can say, I have volunteered at the college for many events, such as the open house and welcome. So whatever you have done, you can mention it here briefly. Okay.
I just wanted to point out, if you see that little italic section there, it says a more complete overview should be included in your application letter. So again, make sure that you're explaining it a little bit more in detail in your actual letter. And also, the reason why I wanted to point out this small section here is make sure you're reading through any tiny little disclaimers and sections that you're seeing, because the question might not be asking what you're thinking it might be asking. There might be a word that could change the way the question is entirely. So I know it could be time consuming, but make sure that you're reading through it, because we're trying to make sure that all of your applications go through without any sort of mistakes or errors, and we would want your application to be disqualified just because you missed something in one sentence.
Thank you, Maria. So the next one is, have you been a participant of organized sports with any of the following? So the Mohawk College athletics, all the organized sports, so participation in organized sports. For me, I'm not into sports so much anymore, so I haven't participated, so no participation. But if you have, then select the right one. Have you or an immediate family member served with the Canadian Armed Forces? For me, it was no, so nobody has done that. Next. And I guess we're almost done. So now is the part that you will upload your file. So make sure to include the letter. And if you have any supporting documents to support your volunteer work or community involvement, to include that all together, okay? In one file, PDF, and upload it here. So you click choose file, select the file that is saved with your last name, dot first name, dot student number. Can't stress it enough. And upload it, go down, and then you click read everything here, and then say, I have read and understand, okay? And then here again, so read everything and say, you have read and understand. And click here, certify that the information provided is truthful, okay? Because like I said, they might ask you for additional documents to prove. So once you've completed all this, you click preview. You will see all the questions answered in a form that what you have provided. And then you scroll down, see if everything's correct. If you want to change anything, you still can, okay? You will just have to click previous if you want to change anything. But if you are confident that you have provided all the correct information, you click submit. Once you click submit, you will receive an email confirmation. But if you don't receive, but you see the message, you have submitted it, okay? Because sometimes it doesn't go through right away, the confirmation email to your inbox. But it has been submitted. If you see the message, your application has been submitted, okay? After you submit and you think that you need to change something, then you will have to reapply, okay? So as long as you reapply before the deadline, which is September 22nd, you're fine, because they will go by your last application, okay, in the system. So make sure that if you're doing it again, you including everything again and uploading all the documents, because they will go by your final submission. I guess that's it, Maria. Should we start the Q&A?
Yes, yeah, for sure. What is the deadline for the fall semester? So I'm guessing you're asking about the deadline for the scholarships and bursaries application. So we've mentioned that within the session at September 22nd at 4:30 p.m. exactly is the deadline. But make sure that you're trying to complete this at least a day in advance. Then you do have until 4:30 p.m.
Just to add something, if you're doing it the day of, a lot of students are doing it last minute. So sometimes the site will crash or things will be slower and you'll miss the deadline. So it's all good to do it the day before, definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely another thing that happens.
Maria, before you read another question, we have Ela with her hand raised. Should we do that one too? Or
Sure.
so if you have a question you want to ask us, just raise your hand too, and then it will unmute you so you can ask a question. Then it will mute you again, but we will answer your question. Okay. So Ela, you have your hand raised. So I'm going to unmute you so you can ask your question, and then I'm going to mute you again. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How are you? I want to ask a question. If before we was an EAP student and now we are in main courses, it's count as a semester we complete in a Mohawk College or not?
Yes, because you were a full-time student, even though you were doing language, it's still considered full-time, right? So yeah, you would be eligible for applying.
And the last question, and I'm done. In the second page of the applying website, you put the 2,500 as a total amount for this semester, but at the first you put 8,000.
Okay,
It's you put just for 1 month or for 4 months?
Okay, those were two different things. So the first one, 8,000, was the expenses with my program. The 2,200 at the end was how much money I was earning or I had saved. So in my savings account, I had 5,000 for the year, but for this semester, they divided by 2. So that's why I said 2,500.
If you don't have any saving, it's okay?
If you don't have any saves or you don't have any work, then it will be 0, right? So
okay.
Yeah, you put the information according to your current situation. So if you don't have any saves, if you don't have any jobs, or
if you have a job, you have to put the earning for per month.
Yeah, because it will be one of the questions. So it asks how much you're making per month. So let's say you have a part-time job and you're making 1,000 per month. So you put that 1,000, and then at the end it will ask you how much you're making for the semester. So if you do the budget form correctly, it will give you that amount at the end. So they will multiply whatever you made times the period that you're studying, and it will give you the total. So in that case, I would think it will be 4,000 because it's 4-month period.
Yes, thank you so much for your help.
Yeah,
thank
the
you.
form will give you, yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm gonna mute you now, okay?
Okay, sure.
All right, okay, so next question is, what is the kind of award at this time and how much money for each of the awards? So I'm guessing you're asking like, what are the different types of awards? We don't have the list of that actually, and you don't select the type of award that you would be applying for. What happens is, you're basically just writing your letter that the way Jacques had, discussed about, and completing the application, and then once that's submitted and if everything is good to go, you will be put into the category for a specific type of scholarship or bursary that you qualify for, and then out of that they will determine who the recipient would be for that particular bursary. Now, some of the scholarships and bursaries, they have multiple recipients that they will be selecting, but some may only have one recipient. Is there anything you guys want to add, or?
I think that covers everything, Maria.
Okay, and another question is, where can I find this sheet? So I'm guessing you're talking about the budget form?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's the budget form that you're referring to, then right when you first click on apply now, within the first page itself, you will see budget form. You just have to click on that. It'll automatically download to your laptop or computer, and then you just have to bring it back up. Next question is, what about staying in the family here in Canada? Should I still estimate or I write it as 0? Okay, so I'm guessing they're asking, they're living with family here in Canada, so maybe they're not paying rent. So what should I estimate, or would I write 0?
I can answer that. So if you're living with your family and you're not paying any rent or not supporting in any way when it comes to the living expenses, then you should put 0. If you are helping at home with the rent, then the correct amount that you're helping them with.
All right, next question is, what are the criteria which are assessed while awarding an individual? In terms of criteria, sorry, I just blanked out there for a minute. In terms of criteria, so again, you know, what you're putting in is basically into the letter is basically, you know, why you feel you should receive a bursary or scholarship, why you feel you would qualify for this, what type of involvement that you've had. And for those of you who might be submitting this application for the first time, and especially for those of you who are currently in your home country at the moment, still starting your first semester, talk about your, you know, what are your goals in life? What would you like to, like, what do you see yourself doing once you arrive in Canada? So, you know, make sure that you're writing through all of that. And then in terms of the other criteria, is obviously any type of volunteer involvement, previous academics, and all of that. But yeah, so there are multiple scholarships and bursaries. Right now, we wouldn't be able to look into what the criteria are individually.
I have someone with their hands raised.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Sorry, I'm gonna mute you so you can ask your question, okay?
Yes, it's Ife.
Ife? All right, thank you,
Yeah.
Ife.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so far for this webinar. My question is, you were speaking about transportation that's transportation related, program related transportation expenses, right?
Yes.
Is it the same with the transportation we fill in the budget spreadsheet?
No, it's the same. So it's all related to transportation, related to your program. So let's say if you are in a co-op and you have to commute to your work place. So that you could include, if you're coming to the college a couple of days a week, so that could be included. So it's all program related.
So it's the same thing with the one in the spreadsheet?
Yes.
Okay. So if I'm transporting myself to work, I have to add that.
Let me just read it here in the form. Let me see here.
Yeah, within the form, I think it's under the living expenses part. So it is just referred to as transportation. So I'm actually not sure if it's referring to program-related transportation or just transportation in general.
Oh, I see. So in the form, it says just living expenses. So you could include, I guess, if you're paying insurance and things like that, if you have a car. But I'm just wondering in the application itself, let me just go back here if it says some things. I'm just going to go back. And then,
Also, just in terms of time, just wanted to say it's a little past 11 now. If you are able to stay, we will be continuing on just for a little bit more, just for about 10 minutes more, just to finish up some of the questions. But if you have to go for a class or anything like that, please feel free to do that. As Cynthia had mentioned, this recording will be available on their YouTube channel.
Sorry, so for the application itself, it says program-related transportation expenses. So you would just put the whatever you pay for transportation. Like let's say if you have a car, that would be included. So you could include the car insurance, you could include the gas, you could include operating expenses, if you pay for parking. So all that could be included. Mostly program related.
It doesn't, okay, okay. Got it.
If you have a car, you could include the amount that you pay for insurance. And if you go to the college, so how much you would spend on gas for that? For parking.
Okay, so for me now, so let's say you don't have a car and you transport yourself to work using the transit. Do you have to, so you add that in the spreadsheet? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that'll be all from me.
All right, thank you, Ethan. So I'm muting you now. So Maria, sorry, I missed what you said about the time. Sorry, because I was looking for the information.
Oh, that's okay. I was just saying that it's a little past 11 now, but I did speak to Cynthia earlier, so we can go up to approximately 11:10 to just go over some of the questions. But if anybody had to leave for any classes or anything like that, feel free to do that.
Okay, thanks. So there are a few other people with their hands raised.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and unmute Shiba so you can ask a question.
I think you already unmuted me.
Oh, I did.
My name is Mani. Yeah, sorry.
So let me do this. So Shiba, I'm gonna ask you next. Is that okay? Because I unmuted Duani first. Sorry.
Okay. Jacques, also, we want to get to the people who put in their questions in the chat first as well.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know how many.
So we can do those, and then we can do the chat, and then go back to Henry.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. So Maria, so.
Okay, sure. So there's a few questions here. I'm just going to kind of merge into one because a few students have asked if I make a mistake in my application, I've already submitted it, or, you know, in the future I am submitting it. What if I make a mistake or I need to correct something? What should I do? So basically, I believe we mentioned that a little bit earlier. You would have to resubmit the application. And the staff that are reviewing the application, what they are doing is obviously looking at the most recent submission that you've had, okay? So they will definitely only go based off of that. But make sure, well, when you're doing it the second time, you do have to redo the entire application. So make sure that you are paying a little bit more closer attention and putting everything in that you have previously added in, also that you missed. EAPE student, okay, so we've already answered that, you know, can that be considered as a semester? Yes. Does the department provide any reason while rejecting an application? Jacques, do you have any response for that?
What I know is all the students will be contacted, even if you are a recipient or not. If you're a recipient, they will let you know that what you have won, which award. And if you have not, they will probably say that you should apply again for next semester. There is no reviewing of the application itself again. But once you receive that email, if you want to reply to them, if they are they're able to reply to you, they will. But what we know is that there is no appealing a decision from the committee. And the reviews will be done throughout the semester. So if you don't receive anything after September 22nd right away, like within a month, don't be discouraged. They are still reviewing because there are so many applications and so many types of words that they have to go throughout the semester. So you might hear from them in a month, or you might hear from them in 2 months, or even at the end of the semester. Okay, so they will be distributing awards throughout the semester. Hope that answers.
Next question is, do we have to provide our last academic record, or will the department check the record on their own?
They will pull that information when they're reviewing, okay? So as part of your application, what they ask is the letter and supporting documents for your volunteer work. They didn't ask for your grades or map or anything. So do what they ask. if they need you to do anything, you will be enrolled in like a course in your My Canvas, and they will ask you to upload whatever they need from you. Okay.
Yes, that's another thing that we wanted to point out. Any after you submit your application, keep checking your Mohawk email. Any sort of email requests that you receive from the committee asking you to provide something or upload something, as Jacques mentioned, make sure that you are looking into that, because that's very time sensitive, because they'll need you to upload that within a certain period of time. And next question is, I can't recall hearing about the proof of English. I took a communication course in my first semester and was wondering if I can just include my grade, or do I need documentation as proof of my grade? Similar question. If you are asked for that proof, then you can, you would provide that. Next question is, why do students who have not resided in Canada for the last 12 consecutive months have reduced funding options? This is my second course in Mohawk. I have been here since December 2019. So again, I mean, when they're looking into applications, looking into scholarships and bursaries, they're looking to see, so obviously your expenses and anything that you have incurred within that 12-month time frame or more than that while you were here in Canada, right? So obviously your expenses related to studies would be lower than that if you have not been here for 12 months, right? And in terms of the student specifying that they have completed a previous program at Mohawk, so then that would mean that, you know, you probably will qualify if it has been over 12 months. I don't know if that makes sense, but Jacques or Cynthia, if there's anything more to add.
That's good.
Okay. When will the money come to us if everything is okay, and if if a student is determined as a recipient of the scholarship?
Do you want me to answer that one?
Sure.
So if you are the recipient of an award, the funding will be released within the same semester. Let's say you want to leave the money there for your next semester. I think that it's an option too. So you can leave the money in your account to be used as part of your deposit for next semester. So instead of paying $2,200, let's say you got $1,000 funding, so you only pay $1,200 for your deposit. So I think that answers. So usually it's within the same term.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another question is, what if we have volunteered in our home country? Yeah, so same thing, you know, as we mentioned, if you are a brand new student starting your first semester and you are currently overseas, within your letter, we would obviously recommend, if you're interested to do that, recommend stating that, you know, you are somebody that usually has been volunteering and you're interested in doing that. So yeah, we would definitely encourage you to do that as well. How long before we know that we got the award? So as Jacques mentioned, it would be within this semester. I'm actually not too sure about if there's any specific time frame that students will be informed. Cynthia, are you aware of that?
In the website, sorry, Maria,
oh, yeah.
It actually says there will be a continuous process. So it's going to be with throughout the semester. So that's why I said they might not hear in a month or 2 months or almost at the end of the semester. So it's going to be a continuous process.
Yeah.
Funding, they might get more funding, and then they could give more students awards or bursaries. So that's why they say it's throughout the semester. Cynthia?
And also, you're going to get an email before they give you any funding. You have to reply to that email immediately you get it. Because if you don't reply and it passes the deadline, they will give that award to someone else. That's why it's also a continuous process, because some students miss that deadline. So immediately you get that email, just keep your eye out on your Mohawk email. Immediately you get that email, do whatever they want you to do, reply them immediately. That's like another step you have to take before they give you money as well.
Okay, great. Just wanted to mention, so we are at about 11:13. Cynthia, are you okay to take some more? Are we okay to take some more questions, or should we end it?
I was muted. I think we're okay taking the questions that are already being asked and then the 2 people who raised their hands, and that's it.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so another question was, MAP is currently under maintenance. How do we provide the grade? So again, that is okay at this point. You can just avoid doing that. And then obviously you can mention it in your letter if you'd like, that, you know, you have received, this was your previous GPA from the previous semester and things like that. And then the department can look into that. If they require you to submit anything further, they will definitely let you know. Monthly income means the income that I'm going to earn during the semester or the income that I earned in the summer.
So I can answer that. So let's say you received money during the summer and you saved that, right? You have that in your account, bank account. So that's part of your savings, okay? So whatever you made in the summer and you have in your savings account and your checking account, so you can put that as your savings. And then if you continue working in the fall, then that will be your monthly income. So there are 2 different parts. One that you have already saved, and then the other one is how much you're making monthly. So that would be your monthly income. Okay.
Is practicum considered equivalent to co-op? So I'm guessing if you have practicum in your program, so it could be that it's only for a couple of months, or it could be that it's only for a few weeks, and it's not paid practicum. It would be, you know, for you to get experience and then attain the number of hours, right? Whereas co-op would be specifically for at least 1 full semester, or sometimes even a full year, or a couple of semesters even. And that is a paid program, and or paid co-op. And within the system, what that would show is that that student is currently registered as a full-time co-op student. So it is different. It's not exactly the same. And also practicums usually are kind of like towards the end of a semester. So it's attached to a semester that you're already studying. And so, yeah, it isn't considered the same as co-op. Okay, so I think that's it with the questions from the chat. So we can unmute the 2.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Shiba because she was first.
Okay.
So I'm unmuting you right now.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a question. Like, I have enrolled for a course in this September, and it is a 1-year program. So, so for this scholarship, I have to apply for this like I can apply one scholarship for this semester, and again I have to apply another scholarship for the other semester, right? This is how it works.
Yes. So every semester you need to make a new application.
Yeah, and I have one more question, but it is not related to this, but it is something related to health insurance. So is this the right place to ask? It's just a very small question.
Do you want to email us a question and we can help you?
Oh.
Yeah, as an international student, so you can email international.services@mohawkcollege.ca.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, or I'm going to message you so you can directly send me the message because we have
yeah, I have already sent the message, but I haven't got reply. So I thought I'll ask you.
Oh, you have sent already? So Shiba, I'm going to look for your email in our inbox
Okay.
instead of you sending me again, okay?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to mute.
Is it?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Is it the same international service? Like, is the mail address the same international service?
International. services@mohawkcollege.ca.
Yeah, I have just mailed it. Yeah, I have mailed it today, so maybe I'll wait for it.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now I'm gonna mute Dwani.
Thank you. I think almost all of my questions have been answered. I just have one, like, since we were, I don't know if this is the right platform, but since you guys are here for international students, I might as well ask. Since all of us are studying from home, okay, and we are not using any of the Mohawk facilities, like most of us are not. So if I see my fees breakdown, I have been charged like gym fees or debark fees, but those are some facilities which I'm not using at all. I haven't been using since March, since the college has been in the lockdown, but I'm still paying it as part of my fees. That doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not sure if this is the right platform to ask, but if you have any.
Yeah, this is definitely a good question because we've had many people already ask this question. However, this is not the place, so I would actually so we can talk about this.
Pardon me?
You can actually email us and then we can talk about this. But unfortunately, the decision is made throughout the province. It's not only Mohawk College. All the fees and all that is part of the full tuition, so everyone pays them. There are a couple of the fees that are students that will not be using. For example, the gym, so the membership. So that one was able, like we were able to refund the students. Also the bus pass, so we were able to refund students. But the rest is like mandatory for everyone.
Sure, I just wanted to make a quick correction because I had spoken to a student recently about this. Just wanted to quickly mention, so the gym fees that you mentioned, and as Josh mentioned as well, the athletics and recreation fee, that's the specific for the gym. You have not actually been charged that for the fall semester. Some of the students who were charged that initially, like, you know, back in August, who had first selected their timetable, those were the only students that were refunded. But anybody else, you actually were not charged that. The debark fee that you see, that's actually a building fee, which is from an agreement with the building within the college that unfortunately all students have to pay. So it's not for the going to the gym. You have not been charged for that. Okay?
Okay.
Great. So I think that's it for all the questions.
Thank you so much for answering a little out of syllabus question.
That's okay, no problem.
All right, so Cynthia, I think we can call it.
Yes, thank you both so much for just all the information that you shared with our students. I'm sure that it was very helpful to some students and we got a lot of questions too. So for Mo Money, we're really here to help you with like learning how to manage your finance. So if you have any other questions about managing your money, please reach out to us. It's momoney@mohawkcollege.ca. That's our email address, or you can slide into our DMs on Instagram. It's momoney_Mohawk. And also we have like events like this every Friday, a webinar with professionals in the finance industry. So this Friday, we're actually having someone come and talk to you about managing your debt and credit too, so that you don't get into any troubles. And I know a lot of banks are very quick to give international students credit cards because they see how much you get in from your parents, not knowing that it's going directly into tuition. So I think it's very important to learn how to manage your money and also whatever debt you're incurring, because this is a really hard time and asking for credit shouldn't be something that should be shameful for you. It should be something that you use to build your credit too as well. So thank you again so much, Jacques and Maria. It was so amazing having this session.
Thank you for having us. I really enjoyed it.
And Jacques, would you like to share your Instagram handle as well so everyone?
Yeah, so we share the Instagram with the Language and Culture Center. So if you want to follow us, that's Mohawk DC, so you are in the know all the time about events and things that are happening within our department and within the college too. And Maria can talk about the Facebook.
Yeah, so again, I think you got cut off when you were saying that. So Instagram is at Mohawk LCC, and the Facebook page is Mohawk College International. So yeah, thank you for joining. And you know, as Cynthia already mentioned, this recording will be posted on their YouTube page.